So in our last meeting, we did Chaupadé by Mehla5, and now we will continue with Maajh Mehla5. The Chaupadé were indicating तू आपे मनमुख जन्म भुआए नानक दास तेरे बलहारे सब तेरा खेल दिसारा जियो. All the game, all the play, all the drama is your creation. You are the conductor, you are the director, you are the writer, and you are the actor in this drama. Once one understands that and accepts it and internalizes it, that is the key word here, internalizes it. Because intellectual understanding of the process of what it is led the science to a very, very wrong conclusion. When you see what it is, but not know why it is, you start thinking as if that's all there is to it. But once you understand why it is, वो आपे गुरुमुख मुक्त कराए, वो आपे मनमुख जन्म को आए, नानक दास तेरे बलहारे सब तेरा खेल दिसारा जियो. It's all your doing. It's a play, it's a drama, it's a leela. Play just doesn't have its purpose. Play is for the sake of play. It is his doing. He has done it. And he doesn't need anybody's permission to it or approval thereof. He doesn't need anybody's condemnation or criticism. You can do either one of them and he wouldn't be disturbed. It's a done deal. Humanity has no choice in designing the life as it is. Well, he should do this and he should not do that. Well, what gave you the right to decide that? Well, because we don't like it. You don't have that choice. And Gurbani says, once you have internalized this, not intellectually, but internalize it emotionally and spiritually, then a miracle happens. A sudden change comes around. What is that change? That is the subject of next hymn. Maajh Mehla5. Unhadh Vaajey Sehaj Suheila, Shabad Anand Kare Sadkela, Sehaj Gufa mein taadi lai, Asan uch savarya jiyo. Now you become deserving of those higher stages of consciousness where you start hearing the soundless sound. Unhadh Vaajey. Unhadh literally means a sound that is not created by two things striking. All the sound that we hear is created by the outside instruments. And in those instruments there will be two things. Say for example, a drum is beaten by the hands, or a guitar is played by the picking key and the instrument, or a violin is played by the bow and the wire. A guitar is played by picking the wire. So you can see that the sound is being created, but you need two. All those sounds are subject to the hearing for the outer ear. But there is a sound created from within by that creative energy, which is called unheard sound, soundless sound, clapping of one hand. To us, it sounds very paradoxical. If we wave our hand in the air, there is no clap heard here. But in order to hear the clap, we have to clap with the two hands. So when somebody says it's a clapping of one hand, we are confused. No, it's actually talking about the Unhadh, soundless sound. That is permanently present in the entire cosmos, in the entire consciousness of humanity. So what happens if you internalize the drama and surrender to the drama and follow the path, then Unhadh, Vaajey, Sehaj, Suheila. You start hearing that sound. Shabad Anand Kare Sad Kela. Every moment now you are in a blissful state. Why? Because you now know the secret. You know it is a drama. It's a play. So when you are watching a movie, you don't start punishing yourself as the punishment is seen on the screen. Because you know it is a drama. You just enjoy the drama. Some of the people enjoy some of the goriest scenes of blood and guts and the screams and all that. People go to see it and actually enjoy that type of scenery. Why? Because they know it is nothing but a scene. Similarly, once the humanity accepts the fact that it is nothing more than a play, life's quality changes dramatically. The behavior changes dramatically. The way of thinking, the way of believing, the way of acting, everything changes so much that Sabad Anand Kare Sad Kela. Every moment you are in a blissful state. Sehaj Gufa mein taadi lai asan uch savarya jiyo. Sehaj Gufa. A state of complete equilibrium. No disturbance whatsoever. Where is that? Well, those who talk about the Kundalini and the 7 chakras and all that, they say that the 10th house is at the top of the head. Well, the bottom line is, there is a stage of existence. For the purpose of understanding, we can say it is the 10th house, Daswaं Dwar, but it is a stage of existence which is way, way further from the day-to-day noise of the Maya, the illusionary world, the world of senses. Sehaj Gufa mein taadi lai. You stay in that stage, after uch savarya jiyo, which is the highest possible state a human can achieve in this physical body form. Phir ghir apne grah mein aaya. Phir ghir means again and again. Where he is going, he is now come back to his own house, which is Nij Ghar. What is the own house? Here we are traveling. We are like a traveler in the world, and we are sightseeing, and eventually after the sightseeing, we have to return back home. What is that home? That is our inner being. We turn inward rather than outward. Apne grah mein aaya. Grah literally doesn't mean the house outside. It means the house of the body. You turn inside, and when you turn inside, what happens? The jolo rinda soi paya. The purpose of the life is to actually experience that divine energy. It says if you turn inside with that understanding that was given earlier, sab tera khel sara jiyo. Once you understand that and you turn inside, what happens? Tripat aghaye raya hai santo gur anubhav purkh dikhare jiyo. That tripat, complete satisfaction, complete contentment, no more yearning of matter or emotions or anything else. Tripat aghaye raya hai santo. Then you start as if you are completely full with all the energy that you need. Aghaye da literally matlab hota radya hoya. Means who's already contented completely. No more yearning for the matter. Because now, Guru Anubhav Purkh dikha raha hai you. With the grace of the Guru, you have now seen the reality of life. Ape Rajan, Ape Loga. What have you seen then? This is what the secret is. He is the king. He is the kingdom. He is the Raja and he is the Praja. Exactly the same thing. But that was not visible from the world of senses. It's visible only when you go inside. Aap nirbani, aap ek hoga. So you will understand that you are not doing anything. Actually, he is playing through you. He is working through you. So if you are laughing, you are not laughing. He is laughing through you. If you are crying, you are not crying. He is crying through you. Well, how can you say that? I am crying, I see my tears. That's all double talk. Well, no, it's not double talk. If you stop for a minute and think about it, if I am laughing, there is an energy behind that. If that energy wasn't there, my body could be exactly the way it is now and all the laughter will disappear. That is the piece we miss all the time. I am talking now, but am I talking? If the energy that is talking inside, if that was to be taken away from me right at this moment, I'll be just a dumb bell sitting at the chair and doing nothing else. It is that energy which is talking. It is not the body. It appears to be body because we can't see anything differently. But he says this is something that you need to internalize. This is something that you need to understand and accept it in its totality. Not partially. Not, I see your point, but I really have some questions about it. When we go to that mode, yeah, but I have some questions about it, then you haven't internalized anything. Yeah, I hear it, I see it, I can visualize it, I have no doubts about it. Okay, if you don't have any doubt about it, can you explain yourself to the other? You learn best what you teach best. And you become what you teach. Experiment with it. It's a powerful medicine. Use it. If you want to see the impact of today's conversation right here, right now, go home and try to explain to somebody as clearly as you can what did you hear. And see what happens. Now I understood it then, but now I have difficulty this time in putting them into practice or into words. That means you really haven't understood. You have a vague, hazy perception. When that clarity of thinking comes in, at that time what happens? फिर अपने ग्रह में आया, जो लोरिंदा सोई पाया. Then your real need will be fulfilled. What is that need? That need is, I am last time visiting this planet. I don't want to come back in the human body form or any form. I want to become part of the universe. That is the objective of this life. That objective will be fulfilled. Guru Anubhav Purkh dikha raha diyo. You will be contented because that real purpose is being fulfilled with the help and grace of the Guru. Ape Rajan, Ape Loga. Understand, he is the king, he is the kingdom and the people. Aap nirbani, ape hoga. If he is not enjoying anything, nirban literally means the one who is transcending all the senses. If he has transcended all the senses, that means the senses are not feeling this is cold and this is warm and this is sweet and this is bitter and this is good and this is bad. It's not feeding that. Because if we look at this right now, that creative energy can see everything in everyone inside and outside, but it's not repulsed by anything. If we have to walk through the drain for 5 minutes, we will be completely repulsed because we will be looking at that drain through our outer senses. If we have any capability of using the inner senses, we will have no problem in existing in that environment. But we don't. Why? Because we are not training the inner senses at all. Nobody talks about that inner senses in this world. Everybody comes to you and wants to feed your outer sense. And they sense, what are the things? Basically, somebody needs some money and somebody needs some taken care of some health problems. Or somebody has an enemy who is afraid of. You can count few things. Somebody needs they don't have children, so they want children. You can count on your fingertips what are the needs of a human being who goes to a evolved soul and say, help me. What do you need? I remember I had a uncle who had 9 daughters, and he kept on hoping for his son, and the 10th turned out to be a son. And the reverse happened to another uncle who had 9 sons and he couldn't get a daughter, and the 10th turned out to be a daughter. And it became a running joke in the village that all they are doing is busy producing it. The one who has son is busy producing the daughter, and the one who has a daughter is busy producing the son. They have nothing else to do. They have no other concern, no other worry, because that is how the cultural setup is. नहीं जी भरावां दी भैन ते होनी चाहिए है। समझ रहे हैं? And they would go to anybody who will say, go there and that will happen. So these people who are so-called saints and sadhus and they are preachers and the priests and all that, they have what? They know the handful of weaknesses. And within minutes they find out what is the weakness that they are looking for. They start giving you the hint. They can fulfill that need for you. Nobody talks about it. No, there is an inner need that you are ignoring. You are not you are not growing your inner child. It is still in a same condition. You are not growing up as an adult inside. You are not growing up, or you are not paying attention to the other dimension, the next dimension that is all very, very real. Everybody has to face it. So he says, once you get to that stage, ape rajan, ape loga, ape nirbani, ape bhoga. Understand, if he is not enjoying something, it is his decision. And if he is enjoying too much and is using you, then it is his decision. Can you see that? Can you accept that logic? Does it make sense to you? If it doesn't, then the journey inward will not go further. Journey will stop. Ape tat bhaye sach niyai sab chuki kook pukarya ji. He is the one who is dishing out the justice or injustice, whatever is your definition of this. For him there is none. For the nature there is nothing just or unjust. Say for example, a lion needs the feed. The food he is going to eat, he is going to kill that small animal. Now where is the justice for the small animal? Is he only born to become the food for the lion? If that's the case, where is the justice for him? If the horse is going to eat the grass, where is the justice for the grass? It's only grown up so that a horse can come and eat that. The life is not based on the principle of justice. Life is based on the principle of balance. 3/4 of the world is water. It's balanced by 1/4 of the land. And 1/4 of the land needs 200-mile radius of an atmosphere which can sustain the life with the air and all the other oxygens and all the other gases and all the other minerals that are suspended in the air. So if 1/4 of land, 3/4 of water, and a 200-mile thick atmosphere, where is the justice? Well, it's perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced. Thousands and thousands of years have gone by. Humanity has been sustained with that proportion. So anybody who says, this is a very common problem with the parents who are raising the young children. Well, mom, that's not fair. Well, son, welcome to the world. The life is not based on the law of fairness. Well, he beat me up. Well, he is the older, so he's going to get away with it. Get used to it. But why? You're not being fair to me. What if I'm the younger one? I didn't want you to make me born later than this. Yeah, I know. Since I goofed, you have to pay for it. That's a law. We can argue as much as we want. We can fight as much as we want. We can bring all the constitutional experts and say, where is the law of fairness in humanity? There is none. I went to the same college, you went. I did the same degree you did. You are a multi-billionaire and I can't get enough bread to feed my children. What's going on here? I had the same degree. Well, deal with it. Life was not designed on the law of justice or law of fairness. It was based on the law of balance. How do you balance? When there is extreme poverty, there is extreme richness. There is a balance. Well, there is extreme hunger, there is extreme obesity. There is a balance for you. And you can see it, you cannot change it. You can argue, I don't like that. Okay, fine. Who's listening? Nobody. It has been that way, it shall continue to be that way. Ape takht bahe sach nyai. The justice is in his hands whether you like it or not. And if he is saying the grass is going to be eaten by the horse, then grass is going to be eaten by the horse and nobody can do anything. And if you say, no, I will feed the horse meat, horse is not going to eat it. You will not be able to succeed. Because that law is not balancing the nature. Ape takht bahe sach nyai. Sab chuki, kook pukarya jiyo. Once you understand that, all of the complaints will disappear. Kook pukarya. All the noise level, all of the complaints, all the things that you have thought were wrong will disappear from your mind. They remain there because you keep on saying, yeah, I see your viewpoint, but I still have a question. No, it is not a viewpoint. It's not a philosophy. It's not a hypothesis. It is statement of reality. And you need to accept the reality with your totality. If you are partially in favor of the reality, you will continue oscillating between good and bad, right and wrong, darkness and light. You'll keep on wondering what's going on and never get the answer. Sooner or later you will have to come to that consensus and say, I surrender. I give up. It's your drama. You have designed it. How you have designed it, why you have designed it, you know it. Ja karta sirfi ko saje ya pe jaane. So you will surrender. That's it. I'm done. You are it. I'm not going to try to understand you. I'm not going to try to define you. I am only going to be in your presence and happy with whatsoever you have given me. That's going to be the end result. Whether you are rich or poor, healthy or unhealthy, man or woman, child or young, it matters not. If you want a practical question to ask yourself, most of us left that country of India or Pakistan or Afghanistan, we left that and we came to this place with what hope? We are going to be happy here. We were not happy where we were. We came looking for happiness. Okay, so how many of us are happy now? We are here. What happened? The definition of happiness certainly changed. Suddenly, what was happiness over there? I remember the guy who sponsored me sent me the letter of employment, and in that letter he had written that his salary is $13,000 a year. And I immediately multiplied it by 7.5 because that was the exchange rate, and said, golly, if I made that much money in a year, I'll be very happy. Well, I came here. And guess what? Within 6 months, $250 a week salary sounded like an insult. What do you mean? I'm an engineer. You are giving me only $250 a week? Why? Because I found out what the engineers were making. That letter became totally irrelevant to me. And then it became a 4-figure salary, then a 5-figure salary, then a 6-figure salary, and I was still unhappy. I always wanted more. Where is that coming from? Discontentment. Defining your happiness every day, shifting your, and I remember somebody drew a pictorial for me that when in a movie a villain and a hero are fighting and there's only one gun between the two of them, normally they show the gun is on the ground and one of them will jump try to get it. The other one, who is also struggling to get to it, if he cannot get to it, he will at least push it away so that the other one cannot also get it. So this professor used to say, this is what the man's mind does. It first sets up a goal for itself. Say, I want to reach there. By the time it's ready to reach there, it nudges it further down so that it keeps on struggling. Because when there is no struggle for the mind, it doesn't know what to do with itself. Now what? If your aim was to get a $250,000 salary or $250,000 profit or whatever, and then you get that $250,000, now what? Well, next year I want to do $500,000. It's an auto response of every human being. Once they have reached that goal, they will shift the goal further down. He doesn't know that he wants that. In reality, he is still chasing the same happiness. I got $250,000, now I'm not still happy. I need $500,000. And now I got $500,000, I'm not still happy. I need $1 million. It doesn't matter. Every businessman knows this. Of course it is. Yeah. No, that is the illusion where we keep on falling into again and again. Our own outer desires, we keep on enforcing on his directive. These are desires of the body. The desires of the body keeps on getting enforced on that. Same thing has happened with the subject of drinking. Drinking is the subject for the body. And the people have taken it and put it into the consciousness. Anybody who is working on the consciousness should not be drinking. Kind of discussion. No argument. Anybody who drinks cannot be doing any inner work. That's it. Why? Because the tissue and the consciousness have been tied together. That's why that confusion is. No, tissue and the consciousness are totally independent of each other. That needs to be understood very, very clearly. आपे तख्त भय सच न्यायी सब जू की कूट पुकारिया जियो जिहा डिठा मैं तेहो कहया. What a commitment. What an announcement. This jiha dittha. Now humans perceive at three levels: matter, intellect, and spirit. The senses perceive at only the physical level. The intellect perceives only at the non-physical level. Emotions. I am having a pain. Who's perceiving it? Certainly not the finger. But finger is sending a signal to somewhere who's saying, I'm hurting. That's the perception. Similarly, when we see outside, in our language we say, dekhna. I'm looking outside. When I perceive with my intellect, I say I understand. That is dekhna. But when I experience internally with my spirit, that's my experience. That is called dithna. Three levels of perception. Three separate words. Unfortunately, some translators just mix all three of them together. Dithna bhi dekhna hai, to dekhna bhi dekhna hai, to dekhna bhi dekhna hai. That's not the case. These are three layers. So Gurbani is saying, jiha ditha. The way I internally experience it, not saw through my eyes, but what I saw through my spirit. What I experienced, jiha ditha, main teho kahya. Whatever you are hearing, whatever you are listening here, whatever you are reading here, whatever you try to understand here, these are not poetic imaginations. I'm not sitting down and composing a song for you. It is the experiential awareness that's being expressed in words. So you have to take it at that level. Spiritual. Once you have done the meditation, once you have reached at a stage where the third eye is open and the inner darkness has been dispelled, today outer is all lighted. Right sitting here, close the eyes and it's all darkness. I mean, we are seeing it by closing the eye. I am seeing, looking inside. Something is there that's looking inside and it only finds dark. But once you are able to turn that lamp on, That's a spiritual. That's Vishnu. That's experiencing the eternal life. That's God personified. That's an enlightenment. The word enlighten. Roshni. An enlightenment is not suddenly that I will grow some hair or some wings or something. No. Enlightenment, the inner darkness will be completely dispelled. And that will become permanent then. दिल के आईने में है तस्वीरें यार जब नजर झुकाई तब देख ली शायर कहता है परमात्मा उदो है God is then that every time you close your eyes you see that light. That's when the realization is. Before that is all mumbo jumbo. So he says, जिहा जिठा मैं तेहा कहया तिस रस आया जिन भेद लहया. And the one who understands the secret, वो तो ही करेगा हमारे जगह पे ठीक है. What are you enjoying? I really can't tell you. Yes, रस आया. The one who has actually tasted it, talk to him. And if you ask what is the taste, he says, और जैसे कहना जाए जैसे गूंगे की मठियाई. गूंगे की खादी हुई मिठाई. Very difficult to put it into words. Very difficult to translate. Very difficult to even explain or make the other realize what is he talking about. Because we have nothing as a point of reference within our vocabulary, our experience, our consciousness, where we can say like that. There is no equivalent. That's why when a poet, he becomes helpless. When he is saying, your cheeks are rosy, what should he do? It's not rose. And it doesn't have a fragrance. But it is doing something to his inside. How should he put it? That's the helplessness. That's the helplessness of every meditator. Once he experiences it, all he does is, that's it. No, that's not very true at all. Nanak was not useful to anybody. I'm asking you, was Nanak after achieving the enlightenment, was he useful to anybody or not? Was Buddha useful to anybody? Was Jesus useful to anybody? Was Moses useful to anybody? No, they are not in vegetative state. As a matter of fact, they are alive like no one else is. They are more alive than the millions of us put together. They are more energetic because they are not now pulled down by the gravity of all the five senses. And they are not selfish. It appears to, because the work that you have to do is on yourself. If that was not the case, you could still continue doing work and your wife could do the work for you. That ain't going to work. This is the work that has to be done on the self, by yourself, on your own time, with your own effort. And once you get it, nature will not let you sit quietly and hide yourself. It will force you out. You can inspire, you can impart, you can guide, you can help them as they go through the process. You can help them watch for the stumbling blocks that come on the way. You become literally a guiding light for the ships. provided those who are depending upon that guiding light. You become a lighthouse. Not for one, for a million. Not for that time frame, but for centuries to come. These words were said 500 years ago. And we are sitting here, reading them and trying to understand them and trying to get inspired by them. Of course, it is not an easy task. Otherwise, the only place where this experiment was successful, one after the other was in Punjab, 500 years ago started, and there were 6 masters in series, one after the other. The other 3 masters were young, and then the 10th master came. The 10 generations of people, one after the other, achieved that status. It has not happened anywhere on the planet in the history. They all appointed their people followers, but none of them achieved that. Jesus had 12 disciples, but they were not 12 Jesus. Moses has disciples, but Muhammad had disciples, but none of them at that level. Buddha had disciples. Every one of them had disciples, but none of them become that same, except in the consciousness of Sikhism. That's why they're all called Nanak. The reason they're all named Nanak is because they achieve the same state, following the same process that he followed. Jyot eka, jugat saye, seh kaya pher palatiye. You have heard this line number of times. Same Jyot eka, jugti saye, technique the same. To do what? Seh kaya pher palatiye. To turn the life upside down. Kaya palt de. No more Maya illusion. No more the trappings of the world. Complete freedom from that trap. It is a tragedy with the human consciousness and fault of the Sikh followers that they sold it so cheap. They turned it into another ritualistic system. It truly is a universal message. And it truly should be given to everybody. But we locked it up. So, understand that a meditator is neither a vegetative stage nor selfish. Understand, it is true that there are few going there, but it is also true, few are going there because there is no motivation. Nobody is sitting like this with 5, 10, 20, 30 people and say, this needs to be done. This can be done. Everybody is saying, no. Just make sure that you keep your outer appearance and you do this every year or every month, whatever, every week, etc., and you are done. You tell me if there is another place that you have seen, I don't care whether it is in Punjab or whether it is in Netherlands, I don't care. Tell me where this message that there is a spiritual height available to every human being, regardless of age, sex, creed, color, country, does not matter. Who is propagating that message and saying, don't worry about the ritual part. But actually, it is more worry about the ritual part. I was only told last week that I am anti-Sikh. I was shocked. I was told that I am anti-Sikhism because I don't tell the people to keep long hair and wear turban and do these rituals or that rituals. Well, you are doing enough of it. What is that got to do with this? My Guru brought a message and delivered it to me free and clear without asking a single penny for me and said, here it is. And I'm reading that, I'm trying to understand what it is, and what I'm understanding is completely opposite to what I have been taught, what I am hearing, and I am making an effort to say, look, either come and convince me that what you are doing has gotten you somewhere, right? Or come and listen to me and I will actually show you the process which will help you to go spiritually. That question should be asked to them. It would be wrong for me to comment on Pope. Well, that's a different question. Are there enlightened people now? The answer is yes. That I can answer. But is a specific person enlightened? I won't say. Two separate issues altogether. How would the person know it is for him or her to check with their master and find out? Is it an illusion or a reality? How would you know? You have to see what resonates with you. What is picking the strings of your heart? Is something appealing to your inner being and say, I need to spend some time here. Something is resounding in me. You go with that heart's message. There is no other way. There is no certificate, there is no university, there is no other qualifications. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And if you went with something and that turned out to be disappointing, well, that was part of the journey. That's okay. You needed the time to learn that lesson. So, जिहा डिठा मैं तेरो कहया तिसरत आया जिन भेद लया ज्योति जोत मिली सुख पाया जन नानक एक पसाया जियो. Jyoti jyot mili. That is where the inner opening is, light is. The outer light and the inner light all are merging into one. The water drop and the ocean is merging into each other. It's a beautiful metaphor Kabir uses in his Beechik Natak. He says, Herit herit ri sati reho Kabir hiraye. दूध गिरानी समुद्र में आप कुछ कहना जाए. Immediately turns around and writes the next couplet which says, हेरत हेरत री सती रहो कबीर हराए समंद गिराना दूध में. Saying, where is the capability in the drop to even fall down? The ocean has to accept. The ocean has to pull. That means the ocean has gone into the drop, not the drop into the ocean. That's the state of egolessness. So once you go on that path, that becomes a possibility. So with that, we conclude the the Chaupada on page 97, Chaupada number 10. And the next time when we meet, wherever we meet, we will continue it from here. If anything I said that disturbed anybody, I sincerely apologize because that's not my intention. But after all, I'm a human being, make mistakes, choose the wrong words, choose the wrong tone. So I apologize. If anything touched you, that is a word from the beyond. That's for you as a prasad. Please take it with you. Now we will open for any further questions. For two reasons. Number one, I acknowledge my shortcomings so that my ego stays in check. I don't want ever to walk away from a get together and say, I killed them today. I mean, that would be doing a lot more damage to my consciousness. So I remind myself that I'm a human being and fallible. And secondly, there are always people who think differently, who do something differently. I would want there to give them the benefit of doubt so that they can maintain their belief system, whatever it is. No. No, it's not a ritual. It is a continuous, constant reminder. Continuous, constant reminder all during the day. When I'm writing the book, I do the same thing. Every day, within my own self. This is my built-in belief system. That if the ego is not checked on a regular basis, it will get out of hand. Pray for my heart. I keep on hoping I haven't found it yet. I do get criticized rather than getting forgiven. And that's fine too. Yeah. That's the reality. I can't run away from the reality just because the people don't like it. My topic is only 100% unadulterated inner journey. There is no room for compromise in it there. If I don't have the courage to say it, how I'm going to have the courage to implement it? If I don't have a fundamental honesty about myself, how would I ever come across as an honest being to anybody else? Maybe there are only 1, 2, 10. That's more than sufficient. That's why I have never made the attendance as an issue, number of people, language. It's fine. No, it won't be the same life. That's what is called the third eye. No, it's a luminousness. Luminosity. Absolutely. It's luminosity. Yeah. There is brightness. That's why I'm saying luminosity, luminous. If you want to experiment, see the difference when you are looking at the light like this. Look at it for a while and then slowly start pressing your pupil and you will see a sudden light popping up. What is happening here? That is a pure biological phenomenon. That the photons that are stored in your retina, they start firing back on your visual cortex. Okay? But that light is not hurting. It's bright. But it's not hurting. When the third eye opens, that type of light lightens up the entire inner without the help of this stored energy. That's not transitional biology. All of the processes and the methodology is explained within Guru Granth Sahib at scattered places. It is spread around. And you have to look for it yourself. How did I stumble upon it and where did I find it? One day we can just share on that. That, okay, look at this line, this is what this is saying. Look at this line, this is what's saying. We can do that. It's there. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. And we see the part of the problem here is, you see, the people who are with the background from Sikhism, they will catch it very quickly. But those who are not, for them it will be completely foreign. Okay? So, till you can bring that thinking at least some common level where they are not automatically, hey, are you trying to convert us? No. I have no desire to convert anybody from anything to anything. No, nobody there. The Sikhism that you are seeing was not that started by even Guru Gobind Singh. That was never the intent. Yeah. They were creating by this. That's an individual journey. That's not for analysis. That's not for display. That's not for any type of kudos or whatever. No. Say for example, she comes from outside and she is disturbed with somebody else and she takes it on you and you see her with the loving eyes and say, yeah, I understand. You have done something. You have kept your anger. You have kept your control of the ego. So for anybody to say, I'm not doing anything on this path is actually a false statement. Now, you may not have an organized way of going about it, but all through the 24 hours, we all do something that takes us little closer. Or we do something that takes us little further. We cannot help it. That is the way of the design of the life is. You are doing something. When you step from the center and come to the surface, when body conscious checks in, it becomes two. It becomes man. When the inner conscious checks in, it becomes two. And the requirement is that the outer consciousness should stay alert all the time and not exert itself.